Hello, everybody. Welcome to Rage and Love, where we passionately debate, explore, and review topics about religion, science, history, and current events. So, the original idea for the show was to talk about ADHD because a lot of people throw around the term and they don't really understand what they mean beyond the stereotypes. But there have been some other things happening around the world and around my life. So we may end up going down many tangents, which I did title the show Tangents. So, you know what? Not sorry. So today's guest is Felicia. Felicia, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing okay. How are you?
I'm pretty good, stressed out, but I'm super excited to have you on because
Thank you.
I met you on Freethinker's Fireside Show. And when I first
Yeah.
heard that you talking to Helen, I was like, oh, I gotta have this person on my show because she sounds awesome. And like, I was really into the conversation that you guys were having. And so, like, I was like, hey, come on over, girl. Let's talk.
Yeah, let's chat for a little bit. Let's get to know each other. Let's get to talk about the world and just have fun. So yeah, it's great to be here.
Yeah, so before we get into all the brainy stuff and the drama and all that, let's do some more introduction stuff. Like because you do content on YouTube, right? What do you do?
I'm on and off. I'm employed full time as a senior software engineer, and that takes up the bulk of my time. But I do on occasion post atheist content videos on my channel, and it's more along the lines of I do sort of response videos, but I try to do them in the sense of exploring the critical thought process more than the typical atheist response video. I don't like giving the typical like you'll get like I don't want to talk about any specific one individual, but you'll get like the typical responses to the Kalam or the watchmaker argument. And we've all heard them time and time again. I try to do maybe a bit more in depth, maybe a bit more um novel ideas, novel responses to those, and that's really where I try to do it more as like a mental exercise for myself rather than anything else, and I feel like it offers some I don't know interesting insights, interesting ways to think about these problems rather than just the typical sort of standard, textbook philosophy responses that you seem to get a lot online. It's fun.
That's a good point. Do you have like a philosophy degree or something, or like just interest in it?
No, no philosophy. I don't actually have a degree at all.
Okay,
I've never
no, it's
completed a
cool.
degree.
I mean,
I'm just interested. It's fun.
yeah, right, right. Like philosophy is one of those things that you don't really need a degree to get into it and to get like super knowledgeable. It's not like like being a doctor or something, right? Like, hey, I'm gonna go do surgery. Nah. Like philosophy is like a lot of thinking, a lot of criticism, and not like the negative criticism, just like critical thinking. Critical thinking.
It's
That's a,
critical thinking.
a
Yeah.
better. Yeah, yeah. I like that. I like that. You said you do like atheist response content. So when I first lost my religious faith, I was actually raised atheist. Then I got into religion. Then I came back out. But when I came back out, I guess I call myself a hardcore, like hard atheist, and went through the typical angry atheist phase, like one does, right? Um, but then I was like introduced to humanism and more like this secular community rather than just labeling yourself an atheist. And I do still, label myself atheist because I don't find enough evidence to believe in a God. So, like,
Mhm.
term wise, it fits. But I've also adopted the term of humanist, and because I like the philosophy of it. And I am not big
Well, the
on
humanism
labels
and
anyway.
atheism. I mean, I'm not big on labels either, but humanism and atheism don't conflict. So they're both
Yeah, yeah.
valid.
Right. So like, and I mean, we have to use words to describe ourselves and
Yeah, I
um,
mean, I don't
concepts.
particularly like labels myself, and not for like the typical like oh I'm a rebellious person and I don't want to be labeled. It's more along the lines of labels for me are linguistic conveniences for people, but unfortunately they turn into like stereotypes, they turn into expected behaviors, and especially in American society, they end up being like you end up playing on a team more than you end up helping describe yourself to someone. And I'm
Right.
not on the atheist team, right? Like I'm not sitting here rooting for Richard Dawkins or Sam Harris or any other atheist. I'm not rah rah godless engineer. It's more along the lines of, oh, do you have good ideas? Okay, cool. I'll listen to you. Oh, you have bad opinions? Maybe I don't really want to listen to you. I don't like it when so I don't like labels. I understand why they exist. They're very necessary, but at the same time, people treat them as like absolutes. And it's like just because I technically fall under this like you can come at me and say, "You're an atheist. You believe we came from absolutely nothing and pure random chance." And be like, Now, hang on.
I've heard that
You're talking
one.
you're talking about weird cosmology here that nobody believes, that has nothing. So you end up with this like weird you just end up with these weird stereotypes, and it's like it would be the same way as if I went up to a Christian and said, "Ah, you're a Christian. You think the world was created in the world's 6,000 years old," and it's just like that's not true necessarily.
Right, right. Yeah. Yeah, and you did answer my question because I was going to ask you like whether you label yourself anything specific. And I like your response though because it's like, okay, you know what? You don't have to label yourself.
Yeah,
And
I
even
well, I
if
mean, if you want labels, I'll give you my quick rundown of labels.
oh,
I'm an
sure.
atheist. I'm an atheist. I'm trans. I'm friendly, and I really, really, really have had this latest kick on opossums, and I don't know why, but I find them absolutely adorable.
Okay, that's so funny because I have an inside joke with another content creator, Secular Gravity, and we always
Oh,
like messing around because like one day I tried to use AI to do the graphics for him being on my show, and I wanted to put it on the thumbnail, and I remembered him wearing an opossum shirt when I first met him, and so I told that to AI. Yeah, but I actually thought, okay, I'm sorry, but uh, my brain was farting, and I couldn't remember that it was an opossum and not a raccoon. So I put an AI, hey, do give him a shirt with a raccoon, and it gave him a raccoon tail instead. So now we always send memes of like both raccoons and opossums.
oh, that's funny. Yeah. I don't know what it is, but I've just been
They're
like
cute.
I I mean, I don't know, but they're actually kind of my favorite go-to right now. By the way, I love secularity stuff too. So, but they've been kind of my favorite go-to for the young Earth creationists, especially others who are like evolution deniers. And I sort of point at the opossum, and I'm just going, explain that. I dare you to explain that to me because that's going to be a real tough one for you, bud.
I know, and like man, he has such a good way of reasoning with people, but also calling them when they're talking bullshit.
I mean, that's what happens when you're born and raised in New York City. You learn to sniff out the bullshit real fast, and that's always stuck with me. The BS detector, the sarcasm. But I think the thing that sort of makes me stand out is my ability to speak to people. I'm very cognizant of this. For some reason, people are drawn to the way I speak, and I don't know why. There's
I don't
there's
know,
there's
but it
just
happened
something
to
about
me.
it. There's
I
something
was
about my tone, my pacing. I don't know.
like, okay, I'm deaf. All right, like I was born deaf, and I got a cochlear implant in 2017, and I wouldn't be able to do this type of stuff without my implant. And so it was hard for me to relearn how to speak.
Mm.
And so I always notice when people speak very well. And I really, it's something that really attracts me immediately to people that do so, or that speak in a tone, or a level, or, the speed that is very easy for me to understand. And maybe it's that, I don't know. Seth Andrews has that for me. John the
Oh,
Skeptic.
could be.
Yeah,
Well, a
Richard
lot of
Gilliver.
people I've noticed with cochlear people with cochlear implants, they seem to be attracted to people, not attracted. They that's the
Yeah,
wrong
I guess.
attracted, but you know what I mean. They seem to
Yeah.
be drawn to people who have a deeper a deeper tone to their voice, a smoother tone to their voice. And I think it's that tonality that people with cochlear implants really find appealing, I think. It
Uh,
helps them I think it helps them personally, I think it helps them understand the speech a little bit better than somebody who's much more higher pitched, much more snappy, in their tone.
right. I think that's definitely it. I know my voice is not super pitchy, at least not when I hear myself right now. However, when I play back the recording, I hate listening to my voice. It sounds really high pitched, and I'm like, do other people hear me that way? Can somebody please give me like some smoothness lessons? And I think that's why I love your voice. Your voice is
Mm.
goals for me.
Don't think it's because of your cochlear implant, because almost everybody listens to their own voice and they go, "Oh my god, I sound like that? Ew."
Okay,
I
good to
listen
know.
to my own I listen to my own voice and I go, "Oh my god, how can you stand listening to me? That's disgusting. I hate it."
uh, yeah, and I think we are always our own worst critics. But however, okay, this reminded me of something. There is another content creator, and I wish it would come to my brain right now. Their channel's name. But anyways, they made this video about how it's not how other people's words stick to us, and
Mm,
those words shape our own view of ourselves. So if you're raised with a parent who's constantly belittling you or calling you names, or in my case, for example, there was a family member where I would always have to ask them to repeat themselves, and they will always say things like, "Oh, never mind," like it wasn't worth their time to repeat themselves for me. So those words always stuck with me, and it's like
mm.
my criticism to myself. It became my criticism to myself. So yeah, I guess we are our own critics because of other
Mhm.
people's criticisms.
We're our own critics
So
because of our parents' criticisms.
yeah, so let me give you some love. I love your voice. Remember
Oh,
that.
thank you. Well, let me give you some love too, AJ. Your voice is fine. It's
uh,
absolutely perfect. You do not have to worry
okay,
about it.
thank you. This is what I love about this community. It's like, listen, we all have traumatized children within ourselves, and we are over here healing each other. I love it.
Exactly. Exactly. So you mentioned going through the angry atheist phase. I have a confession to make. I never went through an angry atheist phase.
Okay.
I never had that experience because I was born into Catholicism. I went through Catholic school in grade school and high school. And near the end of high school, I was considering going into ministry,
Wow.
and I didn't because I had a conversation with Brother O'Connell, who was one of the brothers at the high school I went to. It was Monsignor Farrell, and the conversation I had was, "Listen, I've been thinking of getting into the ministry." And he was proud of me. He was excited for me. He's like, "Oh, that's great." And I said, "But I have some holdups, and I wanted to know how much of the Bible is actually true." And I straight up I asked him how much of it is actually like factually true, and he looked me dead in the eyes and he said, "None of it. It's all a story." And I was like,
Wow.
I was almost heartbroken. because I was expecting him to like reaffirm everything in the Bible, and he said it's not fact, it's a story for how to live your life. And I was like, oh
Wow.
shit. And that just changed everything about my life. I went through like the spiritual portion. I went through like, well, maybe it's not the Christian God portion. And then I eventually just like, I was just like, I don't see anything that makes any sense. And I was just an atheist from that point on.
Wow. Okay.
Oh.
So it's been how many years you said? I'm sorry, like my
20?
research. Okay, good. All right. Cool.
AJ, I'm old.
Hey, listen, my birthday is in 3 weeks, and I
Okay.
am entering uh, midlife crisis. to
I
both at
already
the
had
same
my
time.
midlife crisis.
I am tiny, okay? Like everybody that's met me knows I'm like 4'8" height. So like I wear 12-year-old clothes, but I am not 12. Yeah, I'm about to be 40.
That's okay. I look like a man. I look like a football linebacker, but I'm not. So there you go.
Oh gosh. So speaking of like community and angry atheists, how did you get into this specific space, this
I
you know,
don't like.
YouTube community?
I don't necessarily think I'm part, or at least a big part of the atheist community. I'm around. I talk to people, but I wouldn't say I'm like a secular
Yeah.
rarity or a godless engineer or anyone like that. I'm just, I'm here. The only real way I find my way around is if I stop off in like a live stream and I'll be like, oh, hey, they're talking about Matt Powell. That's funny. Let me listen to what that idiot had to say. But I'm actually started, honestly, oddly enough, watching Logic's videos, and I went, huh,
Mm,
this guy has some pretty good points. He's kind of funny.
mm,
That's not bad. And then I kept sort of watching stuff on and off. And I really didn't get into it until about a few years ago when I watched AXP for the first time. I know that might sound kind of weird. Somebody who's been an atheist for 20 years hasn't watched AXP before until
yeah.
like a couple of years ago. But it was like, I, I found my own way towards atheism. I found my own way towards logic and reason. And when I found out that AXP existed, when I found out the line existed, stuff like that, I was like, oh, hey, people who think like me. Cool.
Nice.
And then, I started making my way around the discords. I would find a discord I would like, and then I would find out, the people in there, maybe they weren't so either kind to the type of person I was, or they were really just like some of them like really super aggressive, either about their atheism or about their theism. And I was just like, man, I'm here to learn. I'm here to investigate new, unique, novel ways to think critically. This isn't helping anything, And so I really got tired. That's
Mm,
why I don't it's kind of why I don't watch Gutsick Gibbon anymore. As smart and as great
mm,
as she is. Um for me, way too much time doing arguments with, quite frankly, people who don't deserve the
mhm,
time. And I'm just like, you're not doing anything for me anymore. Like that type of debate like she likes to do. It's very great for her channel and great for her content, but it's not bringing anything new to the table for me. And it's like, oh, huh. All right. Well, I guess that's that for me. I'll go check someone else out. So and that's kind of where I sort of hover between. Like, she's a really great person. She's really smart, and I really appreciate her stuff. But her and like even Matt Dillahunty to a certain extent, I'm just like, yeah, but you're not bringing anything new to the table. What's the novel idea? What's the novel argument you've got? What's the cool thought you have that makes me think differently about this? And a lot of people I find don't have that. Um, there's what's his name? Bridge the Divide. He does some pretty cool stuff. Bridge the Divide does some really, really cool stuff in terms of argumentation.
mhm.
Breakfast Tacos does a great presuppositional atheism argument, which is new and unique, and I really appreciate that sort of stuff. But and TMM, he does some pretty fantastic ichtheist type of argumentation. but by and large, like I'll watch a Viced Rhino or a Professor Plink or something like that, and I'll just go, yeah, I've heard those counter arguments before, though. Like, okay, thanks. Not really what I'm looking for, you know?
That's true. Yeah, and I mean, I guess the Bible's been around for 2,000 years, so I guess
Oh
we
yeah,
have 2,000 years of the same arguments.
exactly.
But
But
that's why I was like, okay, I love. When I began my journey, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go watch all the Carlian shows, and because it was novel for me. But like you, it's like, okay, I've heard this one before, I've heard that one before, I've heard that one before. So I was like, what do I want to do with my show? And so I started thinking about what helped me deconvert. And for me, it was
mm,
science. I was like, okay, especially brain science. How does the brain work?
mm,
I don't know, how does music affect the brain? What do people experience when they fall in love? What do they experience when they experience supernatural
mm.
things?
That's an interesting topic.
Yeah, so I was like, all right, so let's explore all of those things and help people think about it without telling them, hey, why do you see the ghost? No, it's just like more like, okay, this is what our brain is doing when we do this and when we do that. And so yeah, but I also try to talk about other things like today. If we talk about ADHD, it's like a lot of our community members have ADHD or autism or are in some way neurodivergent. And so
Oh yeah.
they can really relate to this type of content and be like, oh, look, there's somebody else that gets it. And we can all share our experiences and be like, this is how I can, I don't know, help me focus or help me with, um, I don't know, get my work done, whatever it is. So yeah, but I'm really grateful to have come
Yeah, I
into.
think.
Oh, oh, sorry, I was looking at the comments. Did you say? Yeah, just
Oh.
one more left.
If
It's
you're listening to
funny.
the podcast, I said, Ember said, "What's all this then?" And I told her, "This is the stick up. Give me all your money." To which they replied, "My funds are negative. Jokes on you." And I went, "Oh crap! Did I just rob more debt?" Oh well.
That's funny. You do know
Can't
Ember, right?
say that again.
You do know Ember, right?
Yes, we've
Oh,
spoken
okay.
before.
Oh, okay, good. I've been doing a lot of shows with her. She's so cool. I love it.
She's
We've
cool.
been doing like morning shows sometimes, and then okay, Hot Topic is on her channel, which is called Better Than Ember. And then Mondays we do Java and Jugs, which is on the Damn Network, the daily 80s morning show. And it's just like myself and Ryan, Maya, Kelly, Lilith, and Jess, and well, Amber, of course, because she's like the main person that got this organized. And if I'm forgetting someone, please don't beat me up. Like my brain is mush right now.
Beat her up. Go ahead. Beat her up. I'll have to stop by one day. I'll have to check it out. Sounds like fun.
Yeah, it is. It is pretty good. Like the Monday show is earlier than I normally get up, but I love hanging out with everybody. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna sacrifice my sleep. So yeah. Ember
Yeah. So
says meat computers are terrible hardware.
they're
Very
not.
true. Very true.
They're not that bad. They just age poorly. That's all.
Thanks, I guess. No.
Well,
I guess.
you brought up brain science being one of the reasons you deconvert. You know what I find really fascinating is the argument from consciousness. That one's pretty interesting because it's one of those arguments where it's very clearly a God of the gaps fallacy, but we don't have the science to back all of the claims up just yet. So there's a lot of open-ended, there's still a lot of possibility for unique debate and unique argumentation there, which I find really kind of exciting, kind of fun. Um,
Are you familiar with Richard Gilliver?
no, I'm not.
Oh, okay. So he's been on my show twice before. He is on Talk Hidden, which is one of the ACA shows, like connected to
Mhm.
AXP. But he mostly does just Talk Hidden, and he's a philosopher. He's actually writing a book on philosophy and consciousness, and consciousness is his absolute favorite topic. And
Ooh.
I had Richard and Secular Rarity, both of them talking about consciousness, and we may or may not have went about 4 hours on a show. It was fun. We were really into the conversation. So he's gonna
I
be
think.
on November, end of November, talking again about
Ooh.
philosophy and consciousness. I'll send you the link or the date or whatever, then you can check it out.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. That sounds awesome. Yeah, one of my favorite things to discuss about consciousness is twofold. On one hand, it very much seems to be a gradient. On the other hand, the word consciousness itself seems to linguistic shorthand for a lot of complicated processes that happen, and nobody really feels comfortable talking about what encompasses the definition of consciousness. Like what actually constructs consciousness, what qualifies. And nobody on either the atheist or the theist side seems very comfortable discussing that. And I find that very fascinating in terms of a conversation. Like, you know, if it is emergent and if emergentism is right, then
Hmm.
consciousness is way more complicated than we give it credit for, but also kind of an uncomfortable topic to think about for people, where they're like, oh, maybe the idea of me actually is kind of an illusion. Like it's just a higher order function trying to resolve lower order automated processes. And nobody really wants to discuss that. Everyone wants to say that that's ridiculous. And somehow part of me thinks, you know, it's weird enough to be true.
But yeah, one of the things that we covered with Richard was like his frustration because he's like, well, we only have people that cover brain science talking about consciousness, and we need more biologists and people who study animals specifically, other than human animals, right? And he's like, why are these people not at the table if we are talking about consciousness coming from within our brains? So like, yeah, I like what you were discussing, because it's like, do we have a good idea of what it is? Sure, but it's still not completely clear enough
Well,
that we can say it is this or that.
so I have an interesting. I think I have a modestly interesting. I speak English good. I do. A
Oh,
modestly
don't worry.
interesting take.
I Mine is worse.
Oh. But I think I have a somewhat interesting take on this. So I've been sort of slowly forming like my own niche worldview. It's not like formalized yet or anything, but the way I view things is if you take the basis of solipsism, right, and you say like only the mind exists, then you can extend that with empiricism. And you can say, I only know anything about the world through my interactions with it. So I only know things are true through repeated results. So I know
Yeah.
this table is solid because I've banged on it 100 times, and every time my hand has almost broken, and I should stop banging on it. But
Patterns, I guess. Yeah.
exactly, pattern matching. So when we say consciousness, I ask myself, well, how do I know something's conscious? How do I judge something to be conscious? And so my take is, well, I interact with it enough and I get a continual stream of responses that indicate to me, yes, that thing is conscious. So consciousness to me is just a continual string of yes responses to the question, do I deem this conscious? So is a human conscious? Sure, that's what we call it. But now I get to ask different questions when I view it like that. Now I ask, well, if a human's conscious, what about a dog? There are a lot of people who say dogs are not conscious. But
Mm,
they display a lot of interesting traits and a lot of interesting habits that would qualify as consciousness on a
yeah.
gradient. And so I would say, yeah, that's conscious. What about an opossum? Do you think an opossum is conscious? Personally, for me, I would say it has a form of consciousness. I would say that some people would highly disagree and said it's just an automated system
Mm,
and there's no consciousness behind it. But then I
mm,
have to ask you this, AJ, how do we determine when AI becomes conscious?
mm.
What's the
That
definition
is
of
a good
consciousness then?
question.
For me, and I went through this on the fireside chat, but I'll just rehash it here because it's a fun little thought experiment. For me, it's when we approach AI and we talk to it and we interact with it in a way that gives us a continual stream of, yeah, that thing's conscious. As long as we continually get that feedback of, yes, it's conscious, I don't think the underlying mechanism really matters.
Yeah, I would say so far what we get from AI is
Oh
very
no.
biased, super biased. Like you try like mine is an atheist, okay? Hardcore atheist. Like I ask it questions and sometimes it will respond very sarcastically atheist responses. So and I'm sure that someone who is who hates trans people will input so much of that hate into their
Oh,
AI that if they ask it a question, it will answer in that way. But it doesn't mean that it's conscious. It just means that it's being sort of trained. So far, I think I don't know.
I well, no, I mean, as somebody who works in with machine learning and live streaming and all that fun stuff, I can very much say that AI is not conscious. It
What
is just statistical matching. That's
data?
all it is.
Yeah,
Um, but what I will say is, I find AI use to be extremely fascinating because a lot of people seem to look at AI and already think of it as equal to or better than human beings. And as somebody
yeah.
who deals with computers every single day, I'm just like, you've got to be out of your mind.
Like, wasn't there a guy that was allowed to like marry its AI machine or something like that? I don't know. I could be wrong. I thought I saw it on the news. But
I
yeah,
mean,
people are
there
having
was
relationships with it, like sort of what
that's
they
nothing
think, what
new.
they think. Yeah.
That's nothing new though. People have had relationships with inanimate objects before. They've called it that. Back in the day, we had there was a person who either got married or attempted to get married to his pillow. There was another person who attempted to get married or was married technically by like an independent, an independent, whatever the hell
Not
they're called.
legally, I guess. Yeah.
Not legally, right? But he went through the ceremony, whatever. We've had this stuff for forever. They want to, if somebody is honestly at the point where they feel like they would get married to an AI,
Mm.
I, who am I to stop them? Right? Like if you want to go through a ceremony with a minister and get married to this thing, I'm not going to stop you. Am I
Of
going to
course.
do it
Mm.
personally? No. But if that makes you happy, if that is a way for you to carry on till tomorrow, you go do you, bud. I'm not going to stop you. That's like one of the most, it's weird and it's different and it's definitely speaks
Unique.
of something
Mhm.
being it's unique. There's something unhealthy going on, and I think you should go look into it. But I'm not going to stop you because who the hell are you hurting? Who are you hurting doing that?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, there could be, you could say, oh, maybe psychologically hurting yourself. Like, you could go seek real connection with people. But there's a lot of people that have a lot of trauma that and rejection, and they don't feel comfortable seeking that connection from somebody else. So, like, if that helps them move forward, then okay.
Yeah, I think I just think that as long as you're not causing more harm than you are, if everything you're doing is making you happy and ultimately the act of you doing it is completely neutral, I don't care. Whatever, man. You do you. Maybe I'll have a laugh about it. Maybe I'll be like, really? That's the AI personality you decided to get married to and not some other character? Fine, whatever. That's your taste. But at the end of the day, I don't, I have, there's so much more to worry about in the world. Like,
There
whatever.
really is like hate, like hate,
There's
right?
too many people hate trans people for no good reason other than some wacky conspiracy theory scientism nonsense that they picked up on. And
Before we start talking about this, because I did want to talk about this.
okay.
I So far I'm seeing very safe people in the chat. Okay, there's Ember and Eli, my brother, my adopted brother from another mother. My husband's on there, and there's a bunch of cool people hanging out. But just in case there's somebody lurking, I'm gonna say, making it crystal clear that I will not allow any kind of transphobia. So chill the fuck up, people.
Unless you have an argument to give. If you have an argument to give,
Let's
I
talk about
will
it.
I'll talk about it. But if you're just going to be a
Yeah,
bigot, get lost.
yeah,
um
exactly.
so
Right?
I,
Like,
I don't know if you've noticed this, AJ. But I've noticed that when people tend to give anti-trans arguments, um, they tend to focus on a thing called scientism, and they like to focus on the biological definition of male and female, but then they never stop and they never admit to the fact that they're cross contaminating sciences. They're trying to impose definitions from biology into the science of sociology. Have you ever noticed that?
I hadn't, but I mean that is very interesting. Like, I'm not super familiar with the term scientism. I've heard it before, so it's like a really interesting concept to learn about. And I brought you here because I wanted to learn from you.
Yeah, Richard Dawkins is particularly guilty of doing this.
Oh
What's her name?
yeah,
What the hell's her name? The author, the Harry Potter author, J.K. Rowling. She's
J.K.
guilty of
Rowling.
she's guilty of this as well. And Dawkins has done this well, where they make the argument of, but it's your gametes. Your gametes determine if you're male or female, but they determine if you're biologically something. Biology,
And they determine how you're gonna reproduce.
they
That's
determine
about
they
it.
determine how they determine that your expression of your reproductive organs, and that's about it. I mean, they do a little bit more than that, but like
Yeah.
at the end of the day, trying to impose definitions from one practice into another practice is dishonest. Like that, it's straight up lying about what those definitions are because they are different across different practices in biology, in sociology, even psychology. They're all very specific words with very specific meanings, and they don't always share the same definition. And it's not as simple as like using colloquial language to mean something either. And so when people make that argument to me, I'm just sitting there and I'm going, but you're lying. Like we're talking about a sociological issue here. We're not talking about biology right now. We're talking about a
Right.
social issue. And you're trying to argue from a biological definition perspective. That's lying.
Yeah. One thing I've noticed is that um okay, I was raised in Argentina, very rural area. Like, there was like one store and one school. We didn't even have a church, nothing. So it was very country people, lots of farms, lots of like, if you walked for a mile, then it was still the same person's land. I did not know a single trans person. I actually didn't know any kind of LGBTQ person growing up until I was a teenager and I moved to the US. And so when I came here, I was like, okay, I am being exposed to things that I didn't understand before.
Mhm.
And so I had to learn a lot. It's like you can't just be like, okay, just because I don't know something, it doesn't exist or is bad or is a negative thing. And I think my brain completely forgot where I started off this tangent.
It's okay. I do want to interject though, and Ember
Yeah.
is right. I was utterly wrong on the function of gametes. I'm sorry. I'm a software engineer, not a biologist.
Okay, I'm wondering exactly which part did we say gametes, like how you
I
reproduce maybe? I probably, yeah. So
I
sorry.
said something about the genitals. I whatever. Anyway, my point overall point's correct. Don't cross pollinate definitions between different branches of science. That's all.
Yeah, yeah. Facts.
um,
Okay, I remembered. And so I was gonna say that I began to become exposed to people that I hadn't been exposed to before, and some of those people were religious people, right? Because I
mm,
grew up and there wasn't even a church, and some of those people were trans people, and but so far of all of the trans people that I have met, not a single one, even the ones that are already um, far along their transition, the words transition, far down their transition uh, with hormones, with surgeries, etc. Not a single one has ever told me that they changed their biological sex. They transition their gender identity, their gender expression. And that's a very big difference that I think people who are stuck with their blinders on the side of their face don't want to see. They're like, nope, they're one
well,
and the same.
they're doing the same thing theists do. It's the same type of dishonest argumentation where they're playing with the definition of words to fit their bigotry. That's what they're doing. They're looking at they're looking at gender and they're going, "Oh, biology," and they're specifically trying to force that definition when in sociology and psychology it has a different meaning. It
Yeah,
has different definitions, and so they don't want to use those definitions, and so they do what's called scientism. They say, they'll say things like, sociology is not a real science. They'll say psychology is not a real science, and then we get into the age-old debate of the hard versus the soft sciences, and it's just like, do you really want to have that debate? Because if you're going to rest your laurels on if you're going to rest your laurels on biology science, particle physics is going to look at you and laugh because
yeah,
in biology they accept a sigma of between 3 and 4 for their uncertainty, for their certainty in their findings. In particle physics, it's 5 and above for a sigma for the standard deviation, and they're just going to laugh at you and they're going to say, "You think you're a hard science? I mean, look at us." So it's such a stupid comparison, and again, Ember's right. It's an equivocation. Um,
okay, I see
it's
it.
just it kind of drives me nuts where it's like, why do we play these stupid ass games with all of this stuff? Why can't you just be honest and stay in the lane of sociology or psychology? Why are you jumping to biology? Are you trying to dissect me like a frog? What's the point? I don't get it. It's so annoying. It's just so
And
annoying.
I mean, if they do want to go down the path of biology, like we can see that I'm sorry, that the biological sex is not a binary. And I think the problem is that a lot of people learn about this topic when they go to middle school. And so they never open up a book that's past that level. And so they're stuck on, all right, you know what? If you have XX chromosomes, then you are a female. And if you have XY, then you are a male. And they're really not looking at the fact that, okay, yeah, sure, you can have those and you can have your perfectly straight up XX and XY over here. But all along the way, you have all of these other different factors that affect biological sex. And within just chromosomes, you have XY, XYY, this XYY, I'm forgetting, XXXY. Okay, I'm probably forgetting a bunch of them, and Ember is probably going to cancel me. So sorry, Ember.
Well, I think the point is, like it's just not. It's the same the problem I have with being trans is the same problem I have with being an atheist is that I'm expected to know fucking everything about everything while the other side just sits there and laughs about making equivocation fallacies, and you're just like, this argument is ridiculous. Like this is honestly one of the most ridiculous arguments to have when at the end of the day, me taking estrogen is the difference between me being a good person and me wanting to throw myself off a bridge. So like what's the problem here? Like I don't understand what the problem is.
Right. And then comes the argument of, well, this trans woman is actually a biological man. And I'm like, okay, nobody is denying what kind of body they were born with. But please don't fucking call a trans woman a man. Please, like, shut
I
up.
think
Um,
I think what's really weird about some of these arguments is that a lot of it seems to be like intercourse based, seems to be like a real fear of sex, a real fear of men taking advantage of women. And here's the real weird thing that people don't discuss about being a trans woman. I have no sex drive. None.
I've
And
heard that
I'm
a lot. I've heard that a
gonna
lot
be
from my trans friends.
yeah, but you know what? I'm happy like that. You like I'm actually legitimately happy that it killed my sex drive because I was out of control before then, and now I'm just like, man, it's nice getting a little bit of my life back.
Like, now I have time for hobbies.
Yeah, I have time for hobbies other than wanking my willy. Thanks. Thanks, estrogen.
Right, yeah. Um, but it's like, to me, it's also really, really disgusting because you're talking about someone. Let's talk about this specific example of a trans woman who has already gone through hormone and surgeries, right? Whatever surgeries she decides to have. And she's she has to go through therapy to get the hormones and to get the surgery. She has to go through a lot of medical red tape and insurance red tape to get the surgeries. Not to mention that not everybody has the financials to do it. So a lot of the times these are not covered by insurance
Yeah.
because they're elective. So you have to pay out of your pocket. Very expensive surgeries. The hormones have side effects. The trans hate is out of fucking control.
Oh my gosh.
They can get beat up, they can get stabbed, they can whatever else. Like I'm sorry, I'm getting a little emotional. Um,
It's okay.
why? I'm not even trans. Like, I'm not even trans, and I'm like, fuck off. Uh, and
Well, you know why? It's because with the trans community, it's we face similar or about similar rates of violence as women do in this country, and
yeah,
it's it's atrocious.
exactly. And so yeah, and so as a woman, I get only that part. Okay, I don't understand. Like, I don't experience the rest of it. Um, but Amber said you're telling my story, and that is exactly what I was doing because I know you have been through it, Amber. And I share your story because it fucking matters. and because it's an example of what happens to so many other trans people, and it isn't something made up. But anyways, all of these things that I just mentioned, do you really think when people are like, oh, this man wants to go in the bathroom with little girls? No, nobody is gonna go through all of that, through all of that suffering, to walk into the bathroom and look through the cracks to see a little girl for like 5 seconds. No,
Here's a
just no.
here's a here's an idea. Here's a wild idea. Maybe when it comes to public restrooms, we actually build like restrooms like like they're built in, I don't know,
Yeah,
all of
like
Europe.
individual.
Like little stalls you could actually just close the door and not have worry about people walking in on you. I just a thought, because it's certainly the restrooms we have certainly don't seem to be preventing anything. um like
Right?
I've heard people make the argument that the public restrooms we have now prevents people from doing drugs, and I'm just like, have you been to a public restroom before? Because I
Oh
don't think you
yeah.
have.
Oh yeah. So Eli is saying that he is the best ally. Okay, he's a white cis white guy, but he's like the super best ally. And he's like, I don't experience any of it, and it makes me emotional to think about it. Weird how I just have empathy. And he's saying this because I recently shared that I had this experience with somebody that was sharing with me really hateful things about trans people, some of what I just shared. And I'm like, you don't have to be trans. You don't have to be a woman even to understand the suffering of other people. I don't have to be a person of color to understand that racism exists and that it needs to be fucking fought against. So it's like, it's mind blowing to me that people are thinking, oh, this person just wants, like, what? Why are you assuming that all trans women are what, pedophiles? That's just sick. It's just sick to think about, like, because it's what they are implying with
They
those
don't want to,
comments.
and I think what they don't want to do is they don't want to they don't want to realize that the call's coming from inside the house.
That part. And I'm like, listen, if you are worried about men, okay, because you just called, trans women men. If you are worried about men abusing little girls or little boys, because,
Maybe you
hey,
should be
look
worried
at the
about
Catholic
men
Church.
abusing them. Well, not just the Catholic Church,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
the church in
And
general.
generally speaking, yeah. But it's like, then start looking at toxic masculinity. Start looking at the men that are causing harm, first of all, to women, to little girls, to the boys. They're like sex trafficking is like child trafficking, sex trafficking. Both of them are majorly, majorly. I'm sure there are women who do it or who, um,
Oh
you
yeah.
know, contribute to the
I mean,
market.
look at look at Ghislaine Maxwell.
Oh, exactly. Perfect. Thank you. Perfect example. Um, but like majorly is men. So let's start there. And let me get really close to the camera. Trans women are women. Okay. And they deal with so many of the same hateful things uh that women do, because trans women are women. So yeah, and there's another argument that I hear a lot. Well, women have fought for the right to have our own spaces. That is, yeah, that is facts. We have. Then why are we having such a problem welcoming more women into these spaces? If you want women in women's spaces, then trans women are women. Let them safely be in these spaces. Is it that hard?
Apparently it is. Apparently it is.
So
You know.
let's see what oh good. I think this is a comment about a little bit behind, as Felicia just said, the libido drops off a cliff during hormone replacement therapy. Getting with anyone at all just isn't a desire for most of us. Yeah.
Like I agree. So I agree with that. What Ember said. But I will say that like I have had a stronger desire to be with someone, but not in a sexual way. Like to be in a relationship with someone. You know, to be
Yeah.
able to go out, to hang out, to you know to have all of that. But to actually like lay down in bed with someone, I don't care. Like whatever. Like take it or leave it. Mostly leave it. I mean, here's something I bet a lot of people. I mean, most of us here probably already know, but it maybe somebody comes along this and finds out. Um, there are a lot of trans women out there who don't get erections anymore, and they don't use their junk anymore. And so when they do get an erection for the first time in a long time, it actually hurts because
Oh wow.
the penile material, whatever it's called, hasn't been
The
used or stretched
arteries,
out.
maybe. The
The
arteries, maybe, or
not the arteries. No, no, no.
okay,
It's the actual the material. I
okay,
forget what it's called. It hasn't been used in a while, and it actually physically burns. So like some trans women will set a schedule to remind themselves weekly to just give themselves an erection. It
okay.
hurts a lot. Yeah, no, Ember, it does hurt a lot. I know. And that's why they're I have trans friends who have shown me in their calendar every week. That's my happy time because if I don't do it, it's gonna hurt again. The
Yeah,
meat, not the potatoes.
like just schedule it right. Ryan said cartilage, but I don't think that would be the correct term because cartilage is a little bit harder, kind of like, like the hard part of your ear or like the
Yeah,
hard part of your nose.
it's the
Um,
erectile tissue. I don't, it's not cartilage. But the erectile stuff that yeah.
yeah,
That's what it is.
I am also not a biologist, so sorry.
I just think it's ridiculous that I have
Oh,
to
okay.
know
I
so
think
much stuff.
Eli is a man. He can help us. Is it the corpus?
Cavernosum.
Uh, Thank you. Because like I was gonna fuck up the pronunciation, of course.
Pins and needles he likes waking up after it falls asleep. Forging. So for me, the first time it happened, it was not pins and needles. It was fire. It was physically like experiencing a fire I couldn't stop. It hurt. Like it really hurt. Like it was bad. And
Uh,
that's when I said, okay, probably need to do this regularly because if I ever have to experience that again, no thanks.
and that's yeah. I don't know. I'm just going back to the bathroom thing because it's mind blowing to me that people are worried about people's genitals when they're just trying to go take a piss.
Oh my oh my god, the bathroom thing. I just wanna poop. Just let me poop,
Why?
please.
And that is even better reasons why we need individual bathrooms because I don't know about um eh, when I've heard from my husband's, like, and that men's bathrooms usually have like one stall for the poop, and whereas women's have like the individual stalls. But when you go poop in a woman's bathroom and there is no music, and then you're sitting there and you're like, it's very quiet in here. Let's have individual bathrooms, all right, for the pooping experience.
It's like I don't even understand why we have gendered bathrooms to begin with. Like,
Yeah,
just
like
give people privacy.
right, privacy, like this whole thing where there's like a big gap that goes up to your knees,
Oh my god, I
and I
hate
am
that.
like, no thanks.
One of the best experiences I ever had was going to Spain and going to a public toilet in Spain and being like, "Wait a minute, I get a private capsule to poop in? Oh my god."
Okay, Joseph, and this is my husband. He says, I just let it rip.
Of course you do.
Yeah, no, I've never
Washington.
been to Spain. That's so cool that you've been to Spain. I want to go. I've been to Europe, but only like Switzerland, which is where my parents live, and
Mm.
then like around it because they were near Germany and near Italy and near France. So we visited a little bit.
Then when you walk out of the stall, you avoid eye contact. Joseph,
Right.
I always avoid eye contact whether I'm in or not in a stall. So that's just a universal experience for me.
Yeah. I mean, like, come on, we just want to go and do our business and walk out. I
We want to
have
honestly, ever since I started transitioning, when it comes to using the bathroom, I just want to pretend I didn't do that and just walk away. Like that's what I want to do.
quiet. Don't tell anybody.
Exactly.
Listen, the only thing, so I have been purposefully, I have walked into women's restroom with trans friends, and nothing happened. We didn't, like, she didn't try to make a move or anything like that. I was a little afraid that she wasn't going to wash her hands after. That was about it, because I'm a germaphobe. Okay, if you don't wash your hands, then stay away from me.
No, fair enough.
That's about it. That was
That's
all
not
the
really a
fear I had.
germaphobe though. That's just like, that's like common
Yeah,
courtesy. Like that's
hygiene.
kind of disgusting, please.
Cause like, hey, if we are in a restaurant, like we're about to go back to the table and maybe share some food or something. Like, I don't want to be touching the same. Which is like, right? Like, why are we so worried about other people's genitals, and then we're worried about like whether they touch them and stuff? Like, that's the only thing we should be worried about. Like, yeah, don't touch.
So you want to learn how I think? I can give you an example of how I think. You want to learn?
Okay.
So Rion in the chat said, I had a friend who used to not wash her hands. And the first thing that went through my brain was, so what happened? She chop her hands off?
Oh, oh gosh, yeah.
Oh my god. My brain is so screwed up.
Ah, you're good. You're good. Mine is probably about the same. And like, hey, this show is called Rage and Love. Sometimes we rage a little bit. Sometimes we just love and laugh. Yeah. What is that saying? Live, laugh,
Live, laugh, love.
love. Something. The movie.
Live, laugh, love.
There you go.
Hey,
Live,
you
laugh.
know what? Hey, listen, you know what? It's the fall time. It's pumpkin spice. I'm a basic bitch. Live, laugh, love, baby.
Yeah. Okay. I I'm gonna make a confession. People might hate me for this,
Oh no.
but I've never tried pumpkin spice anything.
Oh, you've never tried pumpkin? That's not a hateable offense.
Okay,
That's
thank
not
you.
hateable. No, no, it's not hateable.
Right.
Plenty of people either haven't had pumpkin spice or they just don't like it, and that's fine. It's not a hateable offense. It's
Okay.
there's
Good.
so many more things to hate you over.
I'm sure. I am sure. We haven't even
I
gotten started yet. So
Oh my god, I
we're halfway
love
through the show.
pumpkin
So
spice. I love
okay,
pumpkin spice.
that's fair. I mean, I'm like really into winter flavors, but
Mm.
I like cinnamon, apple, stuff
Ooh,
like that.
cinnamon,
Yeah.
yeah. Cinnamon
Yeah.
I do like a good apple pie. I do like a good apple pie.
Ooh, I
Mm.
haven't had apple pie in so long.
Oh my gosh, I should make an apple pie for Thanksgiving this year.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do that.
So
Yeah.
I have to eat gluten free because I get really sick with gluten.
Mhm.
But I I can still find, there's a store here that sells like a pre-made little pie shell thingy. I could buy one
Mm.
of those that's gluten free and just make my own apple mix
Yeah.
thingy.
Yeah, you could do
Yeah,
that, absolutely.
that sounds
Yeah,
so good.
apple oh man. That sounds gosh. Now you know what? I kinda just wanna do that now. Like, I kinda wanna go out to the grocery store tomorrow and just make an apple pie.
Do it. You know what? Like I said, today I had this stressful, horrible, hateful day filled with uh accusations of trans people being mentally ill and pedophiles and wanting to go into bathrooms to look at girls. So I'm like, I need to
Well,
do something zen and
well,
eat some junk food.
I can tell you that that as a trans person, I am mentally ill, but not for being trans.
Aren't we all a little
Aren't we
bit?
all a little mentally ill? We're all a little diseased. Oh
Like
my god.
I have mental problems. All right, I'm not gonna even deny it. I do therapy. Well, I haven't done it in a while, but I've been through a bunch of therapy and medications and shit. So I'm like, no
Forging
shame. Do we know
forging
anybody that
thought.
doesn't have trauma? Oh, what is it?
No.
Oh,
I
they.
was gonna say
Okay.
forging thought. Last month I did apple pie, but I used Asian pears instead. That's not an apple pie.
Ooh. Okay, that's a pear pie.
That's not an apple pie. What are you talking about? I did an apple pie, but I didn't make apple pie. So sorry for conveying the story.
Yes. There's so many pies. Have you ever had one of those? Oh god, what is it? What the heck is it called? Quince, the fruit. It's like a little yellow fruit, but when you cook it, it turns red, and it looks kind of like cranberry sauce, but it's not.
Oh.
It's not cranberry sauce. It's a lot sweeter and more firm. So, well, in Spanish, it's called membrillo. Well, okay, in Argentina, we say membrillo. Let me type it in the chat so people know what I'm talking about. Um,
Mm. Membrillo?
okay, so like basically, my mom used to make these pies when we were little, and so you put the crust at the bottom, and then the filling with the membrillo stuff, and then you put like these little strips of dough on the top, kind of like crisscross.
Are they a
So
plum? Are they a plum?
um, no, 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 no. It's I
Mm.
think the fruit is called like quince, like the number 15 in Spanish. There you go. Quince. That's
Oh,
the name of the
interesting.
fruit. And so I think they peel it and cook it, and when it's cooked, it turns red. And I don't know. I just buy the end product, but it's like
Oh,
it's
okay.
so good. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick, like a picture. Um. Oh God, I
Oh,
was.
quince. That's what you're thinking of.
Oh, okay. Because I speak Spanish,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so uh,
It took me a minute. I'm like, what the hell are we talking about? Yes, quince. That's what it is.
oh God, I know. I'm so silly. Okay, I'm gonna put a picture on the screen real quick to show everybody what it looks like the end product of the pie thingy.
I am
What did you call it?
Eli. I am almost 100% sure you're wrong about that. I'm pretty sure it's not quince. I'm pretty sure it's quince.
Yeah, no, I think you're right because um I suck at pronunciation. And okay, so this is what it looks like. So it's like red.
Mm. Oh, it looks good.
It's it's so good. It's called pasta frolla. Pasta frolla. Now
Pasta
that one I
fro.
know how to say because I used to say it as a kid.
I want pie now. So do I. Oh my god. Oh, I want a good
And
pumpkin pie now. Oh man.
if my mama said it, it's right. Okay.
There you go. That's right.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
so hungry. I didn't have lunch, so I'm like very very
Uh,
hungry and now looking at this pie.
yeah,
Uh,
I'm kind of hungry too. I'm not gonna lie. That's okay. It's okay. We'll carry on like good little soldiers and continue the podcast for everybody to listen to.
you guys, like Ember sells a shirt. So if you want a shirt of this, go to Better Than Ember's channel, and she has a shirt that says "People come here for the tangents." I love it.
Ooh, ooh. Do you pronounce it
The-
pecan or pecan?
oh, pecan for me.
Pecan. Yeah,
What
pecan.
about you?
Pecan. I'm from New York City, so it's pecan.
Okay, pecan.
Pecan pie though? Oh, forging. Oh, a good pecan pie.
Mm.
Oh, that's really good.
So I have. Okay, I think it is a
Mm.
pecan tree. It has some kind of nuts. Okay, I think they're pecans. I'm pretty sure they're pecans. I've lived for 10 years in this house, and this is the first year that we've actually gathered a bunch of them. I don't know if
Mm.
it's enough for pie, but it's enough to make some kind of yummy something something.
Yummy something something. So this is the show all about tangents.
Yeah, we're
I
just
like
talking, all right? Because
I like it.
look, so like I told you before the show, I'm not diagnosed ADHD. My kid is getting tested tomorrow, but highly suspicious that I probably have it. So like I do better under pressure. I leave everything for last minute. Usually I come up with a bunch of questions for my guest and what I want to talk about, and sometimes it happens the day off. And but because today I was dealing with all this stress and I was like having almost panic attacks and crying and being overall really really heartbroken, I didn't write anything. So
Oh no.
this is all whatever, okay, but I didn't
It's
want to
all
reschedule because I was like, nope, I want to hang out with somebody really cool that's gonna lift me up, and that's what happened.
there you go. There you go.
Right.
We're around. We're here now.
I know, even though we ranged a little bit a moment ago, I'm having fun because it's like
Yeah.
you let it
That's what it's
out,
about.
talk about it. Yeah, that's what it's about. um what is the chat talking about? I don't know, they were talking about sponge me bob.
Sponge Boy, me Bob. SpongeBob SquarePants
Oh,
reference.
okay. Oh, okay. Okay. I read that wrong. It was
Sponge
Sponge
Boy, me
Boy
Bob.
Me Bob. It's like a tongue twister.
Instead
Thank
of
you, Ryan.
instead of SpongeBob, me boy, it's Sponge Boy, me Bob.
And there's another pronunciation. Pecan.
Pecan. I think it's
Man,
Sandy.
say
Sandy
like
the squirrel who said it like that.
pecan.
Pecan.
Like
Like an
peeing in a can. I don't know. I'd
like
say
like
kind of like peeing in a can. You know, pecan.
like an over exaggerated Texan accent.
Well, I live in Texas, so it tracks.
Exactly.
Gotta take advantage of something good from Texas, right?
It's what is truly good from Texas? Let's be honest.
I don't know. That's why I'm leaving.
Uh, where are you going?
We are going towards the Pacific Northwest, probably Seattle area, like a
Hmm.
little bit north because it's cheaper, and we're
Yeah,
not like
that's
loaded or anything. So like we gotta find somewhere that's somewhat affordable.
well. That's perfectly fair. So you're not moving to downtown Seattle,
Right.
Washington.
Like I love Seattle. I've been twice,
Mm.
but yeah, too way expensive. I have some friends that that was like, oh, the living costs, and when you look it up, it's like, oh yeah, never mind.
Oh no, it's expensive there, but it's so beautiful. I lived in the Seattle
Gorgeous.
Bellevue. I lived in the Bellevue area for a while.
Oh, Bellevue,
Oh, it
we've been
was
there. Yeah, so
so
pretty.
beautiful out there. Oh my god. People complain about the rain and I'm just like, no, that's one of the hidden secrets is that it just does not rain that much at all.
Oh, okay. I'll keep that in mind for sure.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
one of the little
but
secrets about that. It doesn't rain nearly as much as people claim it does.
yeah, when we went, only one of the trips it was raining a lot. But the other
Oh
trip it
yeah.
wasn't. Yeah, it was nice. Well, it was winter, so like I mean, it's expected.
Oh yeah, I mean there is a monsoon season, but like I feel like that a lot of people have over exaggerated how much rain is in the Pacific Northwest. Like there's a lot more than there is in say like Texas, right? There's a lot more than there is in like Not Florida. Definitely not. I think Florida, you get way more rain in Florida than you do in the Pacific Northwest.
Probably.
Um, but like, one of the hidden secrets is that during the spring, summer, and the fall seasons out there, man, that's some good weather. That's some
But
good weather.
yeah, one of my husband's family members recently moved near, well, a couple hours from Seattle, like 3 hours or so, and like, oh my gosh, he's posting lots of videos of him hiking, and I love hiking. Okay, I love going into nature, and he posted a video a couple of days ago where there was like a gorgeous waterfall, another one of my favorite nature features, waterfalls, and I was like, oh, man, I'm ready to go. Like, stop tempting me, dude. Like he just keeps posting videos because I told him to do that. Okay, I told him keep us motivated. Like the more videos you post, the more we're like, let's go. But we gotta sell the house first, you know. So it's like, yeah.
Hmm. I was just reading an update about ChatGPT, so that was fun. Oh, I got I
Oh,
got
what did
a
it do?
Sam Altman, the CEO, is posting an update about ChatGPT, about how they made
Hmm.
ChatGPT 5 really restrictive because they wanted to be really careful about mental health issues. Because you heard about the story about the some unfortunate incidences involving people who have taken their lives because of ChatGPT.
Oh, I
There was
have
one. Yeah, there was one incident where I think a kid was encouraged by ChatGPT.
a
Um,
teenager. Yeah.
yeah, to do that, and so that's tough. And I feel for him, I feel for his parents, and I honestly feel for the people who developed ChatGPT. Not Sam Altman, he's the CEO. He can whatever, he can go wax poetical, but like it's a real
Well, the people
shame
that
that
work for the companies, you know, there's
yeah,
like a
no, I
lot
mean,
of
like, the individuals that work there, like, the people who have,
yeah.
like, the engineers, the people who implement the stuff. I feel bad for them because I know some of the people there who took that news really personally. Like, "Oh my god, I can't believe this happened." So I feel for them. But, like, the OpenAI very much overreacted, when they released ChatGPT 5, and
Mhm.
it really killed the product in a way that was very usable. Like, I've had
Oh,
problems using it. I couldn't speak to it about historical things that happened. I couldn't speak to it about World War II. About I couldn't say the word genocide because it thought I was plotting to commit genocide. Like, okay, but you understand what Hitler did, right? Like, so
yeah,
it
sometimes
was
I've
it was
I've
tough.
um asked it to do something and it's like, I'm so sorry, I cannot produce that because it is offensive or hateful or whatever. I'm like, no, no, no. I meant it in a, I don't know, in a parody context or a sarcasm or stuff like that. So I'm like,
Mhm.
okay. And it's like, all right, thanks for clarifying.
Yeah, Rion has said something really interesting. AI is driving up water costs and scarcity and energy costs as well. Uh, so I agree, it's correct, but the problem I have with all of these complaints about AI is that just like every other big business thing out there, nothing's going to happen.
Yeah.
We're not going to do anything to stop them. We're just going to be really loud and annoying, and nothing's going to change. And I've lived long enough to realize that this is the pattern we live in America. And it's
Um
so frustrating to really be in it
again,
because I agree. I 100% agree that it's a bad thing, but like, we're not accomplishing anything. We're not fixing anything. We're just complaining.
yeah, yeah. I mean, a lot of people do stuff for the causes that they care about, but I feel like things like AI complaints is not something that a lot of people are going to be doing much about other than complaining. I
I
have
well,
heard
see that
other criticisms.
like I fully agree with like building data centers with coal plants in them just to power AI training is lunacy. It's absolutely insane and it shouldn't be done. But no one's stopping them, and like all we're doing is complaining about it and crying about it on Facebook or YouTube, and nothing's happening. There's no politicians listening. There's no one forming a plan of action. It's kind of like wasted energy being spent, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's true. And I, so I am very much worried about climate change and the impact that it has on humans. But also, we are living in a Christian nationalist country right now, and there are, yeah, climate change is threatening and taking lives, but it's a more long term harm that we can work on. Right now, we need to focus on the fact that Christian nationalism is going towards a theocracy with Project 2025, where it's taking rights away from women, where they're targeting trans people and literally um, having their lives taken. I don't know if you can say the S word, but people take
Hmm.
their own lives
Hmm.
because of the hate that they are
I agree.
enduring. We have healthcare being taken from people like myself who literally depend on it to stay alive every single day. I take insulin and cortisol, which both of them keep me alive. Without them, I probably wouldn't survive more than like 2 days or so. But also cannot afford them without the health insurance because they're very expensive medications. It's like we have some very immediate threats that we need to look at right this minute and focus on. And I think AI um, water usage may not be one of the best
No, I
ways
agree.
to
It's
focus
not.
our energy right now.
I mean, so like
Yeah,
so
Ember.
I want to say I disagree with Ember. Not on this. I completely agree with that. I completely utterly
Okay.
agree with that. We're being straight up murdered. I want to say I disagree with the other one that remember the
Oh.
ozone hole. We fixed that with activism. It's like the sharpshooter fallacy in reverse.
Oh.
Well, Ember, I disagree with you on this point, and I'll push back a little bit on this because with the ozone hole, we were able to get politicians actively talking about that. And right now, we don't really have activism in terms of the AI space. We have people, very loud people complaining, but we don't really have organized activism surrounding like, hey, can we like leash this a little bit? Because this is kind of nuts. We have people yelling about it, but we don't really have activism. And and I think the reason we don't have that is because nobody actually sees like there are people who actually see the problem, and I kind of agree with them. Like, Jesus, no, this is bad. But we haven't seen like any real results from that yet. We haven't seen like a real huge spike in energy prices. We haven't seen a real huge spike in water costs and water distribution costs. We're going to see more of that, and that's going to be a problem. But until people start actually seeing that as being something that need to tackle, I think we're not really organized activism. We're just loudmouths.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it happens with many other causes as well because we have the fact is that we have so many causes that people care about, and people like myself, for example, don't have a whole lot of resources. I would love to donate to all of the causes that I care about, but I'm over here selling my last month's diabetic supplies to buy next month's, so I can't.
Yeah, and I
And
think yeah, but, but the problem is I'm also on the other side of the fence when it comes to AI too, because as a software engineer, I do find AI extremely, extremely useful as a tool, as a rubber duck debugging tool, as a way to bounce ideas off of something else. That's extremely useful to be able to just have my own thoughts statistically reflected back at me.
mhm, yeah,
Very useful tool. So like I'm kind of caught in the middle with AI. Like there are people who absolutely hate it, and I'm just sitting here. I'm just like, but good for like helping you form
Mm.
logically cohesive arguments. Like that, right? Like it's really good at pointing out contradictions where it's like, hey, what you said actually contradicts itself. Maybe don't say that. So
Yeah,
like, I don't know.
I agree. And I also think to say don't use AI is a little bit ableist because it's doing a whole lot for people that need that assistance.
I agree.
Um, I don't know. One example, uh, as I mentioned a little bit ago, I'm not diagnosed ADHD, but I struggle a lot with executive function. And if it wasn't for I often wouldn't be able to, like, I can't just wait for my husband to get home in the evening from work and put all of my work on him to, like you said, bounce ideas off of, right? And like I have to do my own shit. And because I'm not on medication and because I'm not diagnosed, I don't have that. So I use AI as a tool, to help me accomplish the things that I need accomplished within that time frame of the day. And obviously, I don't use it for all the things. I'm not like, oh, hey, write me an entire script for the show. It's like, no, hey, what topic is interesting? Blah blah blah. I don't know. It just helps.
Hey, you
Or
want to
organize my schedule, please.
Hey, you want to talk about ableism? I can talk about ableism in theism, in theistic arguments. That's a really interesting topic that I've never
Oh
heard.
yeah.
I've never heard a counter apologetics approach. So, you've heard the argument that God is obvious because it's all around us. It's visible in nature.
Look at
Okay,
the
so
trees.
yeah, the
Yeah.
look at the trees argument. Yeah, I got a question for
Exactly.
you. I got a
Okay.
question for you. Uh, blind people, they exist, right? Like,
I
are we?
You're looking at one because I used to be blind. Well,
So
I
I
had a
mean,
double
complete.
corneal transplant.
I mean, like people who are born completely blind, they exist,
Oh,
right? So
of course.
are you trying to tell me that are you trying to tell me that the people who are born completely blind cannot see the obvious beauty of God, and therefore that God just made people who just were never intended to know Him? Is that what you're telling me? Or if you're going to tell me, and presuppositionalists like to make this argument a ton, that logic and reason are all derived from God. What about the developmentally disabled who maybe don't have proper critical thinking facilities? Are you telling me God specifically birthed people who aren't allowed access to His divine nature just by being physically different than the rest of us? There's a lot of ableism in apologetics, and I don't think a lot of people realize it, and it's kind of disgusting.
Oh, there is. I experienced one. It's not exactly this, but it's sort of like ableism in the sense of
Mhm.
um, the whole you are created in God's image, and
Imago
so
Dei.
yeah, so I was having a conversation with someone a while back with the whole the boxer that there was a woman that people in the media were claiming that she was transgender, and
Mhm.
so I got into a
You
really
you
heated
you
argument with,
mean the Olympic boxer that was not transgender at all?
right, like that was, she was a woman, she was born yeah, exactly, but this person was, even though there was clear evidence, this person was continuing to argue that that she was transgender. And so we got into a really heated argument, and he was like, well, trans people should respect how God created them. And I'm like, all right, let's explore that. Because if you don't want trans people to have surgeries, to modify their bodies to however they want, however they deem necessary for to feel authentic, then you need to also apply this across the board. And I was like, are you telling me that God made me to be blind and deaf, and therefore I should not modify His creation? Because the cochlear implant was my choice.
Mhm.
It wasn't medically necessary. The corneal transplants was my choice. It wasn't medically necessary. Like there are plenty of people who don't have the option, who don't wish to change themselves, who are fine with being both blind and deaf. I was not. I wanted to be part of the world. I was raised in the hearing world while being deaf, and it was extremely hard. And so I was already accustomed to being in the hearing world, and I wanted to be a more
Able to hear.
involved part of it. And then be able to communicate with the people that were already in my life that never learned sign language, which I also didn't really know much sign language. So I feel a lot more comfortable speaking verbal spoken words, right? And so this person went all ableist and was like, well, yeah, of course you should be happy with the body that God gave you. I was like, all right. Like basically he said that I shouldn't have had the surgeries that I had. And well, this is somebody that I no longer communicate with because of all of these
Mhm.
bigoted views that he was never able to be open to having a legit dialogue about these things. It was just gaslighting, trying to
Yeah.
trigger me and stuff like that. But I'm like,
Get
no,
get that a
listen,
lot.
like my teenager has had two open heart surgeries. And so if someone like myself that had um, eye surgeries, ear surgeries, I've had pain stimulator implants, so many surgeries. I could have not had them, just like I could have decided, like, hey, you know what? God created my child perfect, and therefore His will be done. And I will not give them an operation because God will deliver and God will heal them, which is something that a lot of people believe in. So it's like, no, I'm so sorry, but that is just bullshit.
I
that
think
that
what's
God design is bullshit.
I think what's really weird about Imago Dei is, if Imago Dei is true, then God himself just really is like me in that sense, and then he just really, really, really wants a big pair of titties for some reason, and it's such a strange thing to say that I was made in his image. Like, what?
Right? And then why did He give you um a
Why did he
mind
give me so
or
many self-confidence issues? That's what I wanna know. Why did that happen?
yeah. Why did He create you with this I'm sorry, but I don't know what to call it. Would you call it a desire? Like how would you describe someone's
Being
uh
trans?
right? I don't want to
Um,
use the wrong wording.
what's a good phrase for this? It's not really a desire,
Right, I
it's
know.
an
I feel like I was wrong.
it's kinda wrong, it's kinda right. It's more like I think the best way to describe it is incongruity.
Okay,
You're incongruous
incongruity.
with
Yeah,
your body.
right. And then why did God create trans people that way? Because if He created you in His image or perfect, then He created you trans.
Mm. Maybe he created me to teach his other creations to stop being fucking pricks to people.
You know, that is actually a great point because I feel like okay, so I came into the secular community. I'll call it the secular community because it's filled with different kinds of people. Like we said
Mhm.
earlier, labels. There's like humanists and atheists and etc.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I came into this community. Um, first, most more like yourself, where I was just kind of finding myself in like in the live chats and in the discords and stuff like that. But because someone I loved was trans, and I wanted to learn about it. And I'm sorry, my alarm was going on. And I wanted to learn about it. And I have found that I've learned so much more from this community, from trans people, from other queer people, and from everybody in these spaces than I ever did in the rest of my almost 40 years outside of it. More, um, more information, more kindness, more respect, more compassion. And it's like, why? And I wonder all the time, why can't people outside of this see trans people as the human beings that they are? Why are they so hell bent on dehumanizing people and making them seem like, like I said, like pedophiles, or like they are mentally ill? And yeah, sure, they're like, oh no, everybody has mental illness, and it's fine. Like, no, you are saying that these people have something wrong with them for wanting to be authentic. I didn't get tattoos until I came into the community because I felt so much stigma from society, from religious people, against people who had any type of body modifications, and so I didn't get a tattoo. And then once I came into the community, and I met so many authentic people, not just trans people, but other people that are just like, well, fuck all that. I'm gonna be who I wanna be. Say,
Exactly.
hey, I can be that too. Um, I'm not very feminine. I grew up wanting to be a tomboy, but it was kind of a little bit implied in the area of the world that we lived in, that girls have to be feminine and boys have to be masculine, and it was a societal thing. And even moving to the US, I felt the same way. It's all over society, to where you have to be feminine. Especially when I went into the church, I felt like I always had to wear dresses and put makeup on and have my hair down. I hate having my hair down, so like I shaved both of the sides. After, I was like, I'm gonna be myself. I got tattoos. I dyed my hair green. I shaved
Good
the
for you.
sides. And I was like, now I feel confident, because I always felt so awkward before. And I'm like, I want that for trans people. I want them to feel good, whatever that means to them. Feel good.
Uh, I do want to say this. If God wanted me to know he exists, why did he let the scientific revolution and enlightenment happen in the 18th century? Why did that happen? Why was that allowed to happen?
Right? Keep it in the dark ages, God.
It's just I don't. It's just one of those weird things. Like,
Like, why did he create so many scientists? So many people with brains that are wired for understanding and critical thinking and science, right?
well, the logical answer is he didn't create any of them.
That is the logical. Yeah, exactly. And you know what? I'm not gonna claim to know all the truth, and I'm not gonna be like, I'm gonna sit here and there is no God. No, I say I don't have enough evidence. Just like I don't have enough evidence that unicorns exist. But if you showed me a unicorn, I would be like, hell yeah, that looks like fun.
S- so
Give
I've
me, where can I buy one?
I take a slightly more controversial stance in the atheist community.
Okay.
I'm not a full on hard or strong atheist, at least in formal discussions, because I do not have the proof positive 100% confirmed evidence that God does not exist. So I can't make those formal philosophical debate arguments.
Oh yeah, no.
However, if I because I don't like labels, a lot of people say they're an agnostic atheist. I would say I'm agnostic, leaning Gnostic atheist, because my reasoning is such. Um, in science, we a lot of people like to make the argument the absence of evidence is not evidence of absence, but they apply that in the wrong way. Because really, what that phrase means is if you haven't tested anything, you don't know if something's there or not. If you test something, however, and you don't get results, probably not there. So in science, you could take a look at the luminiferous ether. we originally thought light traveled through this space goop. and
Good.
that's why it wasn't instantaneous. Turns out to be completely wrong. And so the luminiferous ether, because of our experiments, is evidence of absence. And for me, it's the same way with God. Christianity has had over 2,000 years to present its case and provide evidence for God,
Mhm.
and it's just not there. And so for me, God is the same thing as it holds the same epistemic weight as luminiferous ether or conspiracy theories or perpetual motion machines. There are things that people get latched onto, things that people get attached to, but for me, it's about the exact same thing in terms of how much evidence there is for it. So, while I
Mm.
can't take the strong atheist stance, for me, I'm pretty damn close to it.
Yeah, I feel the same way. That's why I would say not enough evidence. I'm like, I don't see enough evidence to believe in a God, right? And but if you show me evidence, sure, I could. So it's to me, it's about the level of evidence.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree, but
aside of
my phrasing is definitely a bit stronger. My phrasing is, the statistical probability is that God doesn't exist.
okay,
That's that. I'm a little bit stronger. I'm definitely stronger than the most common atheists. But at
yeah,
43 years old, what the hell do I have to lose? What do I care?
like atheism isn't binary either, right? Belief isn't binary. It's like a spectrum. And I
I
mean,
love
I
type.
trust me, I've seen some really bad atheists. Like,
Oh
and
yes.
by bad, I mean like, okay, I should correct myself because I dislike calling people bad. I just say they have bad ideas or they made bad decisions. It doesn't make them a
A
bad
bad person.
person. At least
Yeah.
the majority of people, I can confidently say that. And so
I've
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 seen a
seen
lot
I'm,
of.
I've
Oh yeah.
seen bad people be atheists. Don't worry.
Okay. Right. And so I'm like, hey, look, when people ask, well, where do atheists get morality? I'm like, I don't know. I don't think all atheists are moral.
I mean, if you want to hear a bad atheist, look up Pine Creek on YouTube. He's a
Oh,
bad
I know.
atheist. He's a bad
He's
person. I don't like him.
the one that's connected with Derek from Vision. Yeah,
Yeah, he's
gotcha.
not a
Um,
good
uh,
person.
I'm gonna call one out that insulted one of my really good friends, Godless Engineer's wife, Armin Navabi. He has become a bad atheist.
Mm,
Yeah, like
I think,
yeah,
and I don't mean like in terms of presenting their arguments poorly. I just think in terms of being a decent person.
yeah.
You know,
No, he like called her the R word and
yeah.
just horrible, like really bad.
But I will admit this. The worst of the theists that I've ever met has to be made by Jim Bob. Have you ever spoken with him? Oh my God,
I
that
have not
dude.
spoken to him, thankfully. No, because I would probably not be able to stand it. But
Made by
I've
Jim Bob is
seen.
he. I don't know why he got so popular so fast, but he's a special kind of bad.
But say don't look at Pine Creek. Save your brain cells.
Pine
Yes.
Creek's a definitely, if you want to talk you want to talk about bad atheists who sometimes make bad arguments, but also make themselves seem like just terrible human beings. Man, Pine Creek is the epitome of bad atheism. Um, and it's just,
Yeah,
ugh, I can't stand the guy.
I've tried not to look him up too much, but yeah, I've seen him like with Derek and stuff. So like,
I,
that's
I've
enough for
spoke
me.
I've spoken to Jim Bob. It didn't end well. I spoke to Jim Bob for
Dave.
5 minutes, and I was like, I spoke to Jim Bob for like 5 minutes, and I was like, okay, You're clearly just not on the same intellectual level as I am, because you immediately throw out insults to try and get your opponent on the back foot, or
Uh,
tilted. You are just not. You're not a very good or healthy person. Like, it just.
it sounds like Armin. Yeah, for sure. Just
Mm,
resorting to insult straight away. So Fern says the great thing about atheism is that there is only one thing that unites us all, or lack of belief in any gods. The
mm.
worst thing about it is that only one thing unites us all.
I wholeheartedly agree. Oddly enough, very much like Christianity, there's one thing that unites them all. But boy, they sure seem to have a lot of different sects that disagree with each other, don't they?
Oh, yeah, yeah, right. It's so weird because they Amber was saying
Oh God, Atheists for
evil
Liberty. Ugh.
atheist, straight Christian nationalist sense Bible. It's really weird because we are seeing several of these atheists falling down the alt-right pipeline, and it's concerning. It's like, what is going on? Why are they doing that? Why are they falling down that? Uh,
Um, I don't think. I'd be honest with you. I don't think there's. I don't think the terminology "falling down to the right pipeline" is quite correct. I
accurate.
think
Okay.
a
What would you
lot of
say?
these, because I think a lot of these people already thought like that, but they
Mm,
just found an avenue
that's
that
fair.
let them express their thoughts.
That's fair. That is, yeah. Okay, I agree with that. So it's like that's one thing that I thought about specifically with Armin, because his background is he's from Iran, so he was a Muslim. He was raised Muslim,
Mhm.
and but he speaks really harshly against Islam. But it's like he never fully deconstructed um, the base of his ideals. It's like he left the religion, but he was left without the baggage from it, and he moved that into Christian nationalism.
Yeah,
So
no, I
he's
agree.
not a Christian, but he's heading toward that.
Yeah, I don't know. I Armin is sometimes for me, Armin is one of those hosts on AXP that can put on a good show,
Oh,
but
I like
his
him on AXP.
yeah,
I don't know if you've seen him on his channel. On
I
Atheist
do
Republic.
I do not watch Atheist Republic. No,
Oh,
no,
it's
I do not watch that.
bad. It's like Zionism, hardcore
Mm.
Zionism.
See,
Um,
that's part of the reason why I didn't watch Atheist Republic, is because he was very much into the politics, and so I never got into any of that, and so I just stopped reading it. I didn't care. But he doesn't he host a lot with Secularity as well?
oh, he used to. They don't. I don't think they do
Oh,
anymore.
okay,
Yeah, pretty sure they don't. But he got kicked out of AXP. Armin did, because of the content that
really?
he was making on Atheist
Wow,
Republic, because it
it's
was
kind
so
of
problematic and so um so he also had some transphobic ideas that he
he
kind of
no
say
he very
in
much no.
that.
It's not some kind of transphobic ideas. Armin is very transphobic.
Yeah. So yeah. Okay, yeah. Eli works with the ACA. He's like this. He's not with the Minor.
Yeah,
Um.
he's I don't know what I because like when he hosted the shows I watched, you could tell just how connected I am to the atheist community. I don't pay attention to the drama because I don't really care about the drama. Like I care about like ideas and exchange of ideas, and even critical thought and critical exchange. Like, hey, have you thought about it this way? Oh, well, how about this? I appreciate that. But when it
So,
comes to like but when it comes to things like politics, my primary sort of concern comes down to, yeah, but how many people are you murdering over this? That's kind of what it comes down to. Like
fair.
how many people are getting fucked by this? And
Yeah.
and a lot of people excuse that sort of behavior because either of past experiences or because they want something to be a certain way, and they think and they think, acceptable losses essentially. And I don't find that the proper way to approach politics. And so I don't I generally tend to ignore politics because I don't know how to reach people and discuss it with people in a mature and critically um um what's the word I'm looking for, in a critically useful, that's not the right word, but it's close enough, useful fashion. So I don't know how to engage at that level in terms of politics, because nowadays it's always some sort of extremist view. Like,
Yeah,
there's no like, hey, can we like
middle.
maybe discuss not murder people? Like, let's find out what the grievances are here. Maybe displacing children and families and bombing hospitals not the best idea. That's just crazy idea here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's kind of like what we were talking about AI earlier. Like it's like, let's just focus, focus on the harm.
Yeah, no, I agree. I just that's why I don't really describe myself as part of the atheist community, quote unquote, because like I don't tend to get involved with the drama. Like I'm here to I'm here I I like, how do I describe it? I am building a Raspberry Pi right now. Just to describe it, I'm building a Raspberry
Fun.
Pi system specifically to do several things. One of them is to act as a VPN, but one of them is to I'm going to I'm building a control board so that I can interface directly with my motherboard's power supply and flick the computer on and off. I'm building a custom human interface device with the USB port so I can have the Raspberry Pi act as a keyboard and mouse. So in the event of a power failure, I can remotely log in and turn my workstation back on. I
I like
appreciate things like that. I appreciate things that take thought, that take curiosity, that take, a lot of critical thinking and planning things out. What I don't appreciate is the snap judgments, is the politics, is the yelling back and forth, is the drama. That shit pisses me off. And I'm just like, you know what? I don't care what the right answer is. I don't care if you're right. I don't care if I'm wrong. I don't want
that. Be
to
good.
hear
Be a good
I don't want
person.
to hear it anymore. Just be cool. And then I just end up leaving the community. Like, I'm not here to fight. I'm not here to kill. I'm not here to hurt. I'm here to build cool things and have cool ideas and really try to be like, listen, I know you believe, and I know you're very faithful, and I know you're a theist, and I know you love Jesus, and I don't care about that. I care about the argument you're making. I care that you're trying to make the leap in the cosmological argument and saying the universe must have been created. What I'm saying, hold on, we can only observe back to 300,000 years after the Big Bang. And then after that, we have to infer everything through mathematics. So a lot of the stuff that happens before the cosmic microwave background radiation, all of that could be wrong. And now we're making a huge inference and declaration about the origin of the universe. Let's critically think this through. Let's come together and actually talk about critical thinking and about how we come to our conclusions. That's what I'm interested in. But nobody seems interested in it, god damn it. It pisses me off.
Well, I brought you here for that because I'm interested in it. I learned a lot today. I learned a lot, and it's fascinating because we just covered a whole bunch of different topics. I feel like we could have probably done a single show on every single one of them. And
Probably.
I'm by going into like trying to think about a bunch of things that I want to ask you. Um, but you know what? We could do a whole
Okay.
separate show another day for
But
just the philosophy part. Let's
well,
do that.
before we wrap up, well, I mean, we could do several shows on philosophy. I'm fine with that. But before we wrap up, I just want to throw a little love to Fern. Thank you, Fern. I guess it's been intuitive, but I get it that you feel a bit outside the
Oh,
atheosphere. I like your content and it stands out. Well, thank you. And I feel like because I stand outside the atheosphere, that's why my content can stand out the way it does. And I
fair.
feel like I feel like that's much more helpful for the type of content I want to create and the type of thinking I want to encourage. Because I feel like a lot of atheists and a lot of theists get stuck in the same rut. of thinking in catchphrases and slogans, and not actually discussing things, in a fruitful manner.
I love that. Yeah, we definitely need more of that, and more like respectful. And do you know Anthony Magnabosco's
I do
epistemology
not.
tweet?
Mm, I do not.
No.
I'll have to check it out.
Okay. I'm gonna send you a link to his channel.
Okay.
It's called Tweet Epistemology, and I love the way he engages with people because it's all about that. It's all about the critical thinking, and he makes zero judgments, zero like drama or pushing, in an aggressive way. And it's all about questioning, but not questioning as in doubting. It's questioning to make the person think, to make the person reason,
Mm.
and analyze their own beliefs and why they believe that. um oh, okay, so let me see.
Yeah, put
Fern
it in
is
the chat for
asking for me
sure.
to put it in the chat. I'll do that right now. Let me look it up. um
Absolutely. But yeah, like I'm not one of those people who's trying to deconvert people. Like
oh,
I'm
no,
not
no,
trying to get
no.
people. Oh
He
no, I know
talks
he's
about,
not either.
no, because he is a non-believer, but
Mhm.
like he does talk to a lot of people who are God believers, but he will ask the person, hey, what do you want to talk about? Like,
Mm. I'll have to check it out. It sounds
I'm
interesting.
seeing one video called Lost in Foster Tangents. Another one's called Taking Social Advice. What is unique about the weather? So like he analyzes the person's ideas. It can be about karma, whatever. um like, for example, I did an episode like at the very beginning of my channel with a family member who's a theist, but I was like, hey, let's not discuss religion. Let's do an epistemology episode based on Anthony Magnabosco's, that is about something that you're interested in, or something that I can bring up. And I gave him a couple topics, and he chose whether truth was objective.
Mm.
And we had a whole discussion about that, and it was really cool, like really fun. Okay, so I put it in the chat.
Cool.
um he hasn't made new content in the last year, but there are 240 videos in this channel. So
Plenty of content to catch up on.
yeah, exactly. Like,
Yeah.
I think you're gonna love it because his
And I know
style is so respectful and so curious, like with curiosity. He approaches people with curiosity. It's amazing.
I know I have been fantastic on keeping my content flowing regularly, but like I'm a senior software engineer at a live streaming company.
Mm,
Like I it's gonna come in spurts. So like when I have the time, I'll make it. But hey, and I'll be honest with you, a lot of the content I've been looking at to reply to, it's boring. It's it's like you didn't even try to make an argument. So why should I even try to make a response? You know?
yeah, that's true. Okay, I'm gonna real quick put your, so the link for your channel is in the description below, but also I'm gonna
Yeah.
put it in the chat right now in case people
Hell
wanna
yeah.
go and subscribe and stuff.
In case you want to check it out.
But you know what? Before we go, I should have probably done this at the beginning, because like it's something that I ask a lot of people whenever I remember.
Mhm.
Um, I like to find out how people think,
Okay.
not what they think. Okay, so the question is, how do you think? And it's basically like, do you think in images? Do you think in a voice? Do you think in abstract, or more like feelings? Is it blank?
Oh,
Uh,
I think in the abstract. So I've been described by a therapist as a systems thinker, and basically what that means is I see the world in abstractions and how those abstractions fit together. And this comes from being a software engineer for 20 plus years, and being a tinkerer and a builder, and a hobbyist programmer. I think in terms of how things fit together, um, from this point of view, and how to make them work together better. So one of the ways I think is currently at my job. I won't give any specifics because I do work for a company
I
that
don't know.
is
Okay.
government adjacent. But currently at my job, I have taken over for a team that lost their entire development team. They all got canned because they were terrible people. Uh, And so one of my jobs was to try and restore confidence in this team and be like, "Hey, listen, we can do this. We can build this. We can make this happen." But in order for them to understand that that was a possibility, I had to start to take the individual tools of the team and make it function better. So I had the people who were in charge of approaching clients and design, and they started to I had them speak directly with the new developers we had hired, and I said, "Listen, we need to get on the same page, and you need to understand that dev is going to do everything it can to make this product happen, so you shouldn't be afraid to talk to dev." But I had to speak to dev, and I had to tell them, "Listen, they're going to tell you to do things you're going to hate. It's our job to make miracles happen. We build awesome stuff." And I had to get them on board with that. But in order to build that level of trust, I had to sit down with each of them, and I had to take them through their personal problems that they have, right? Some of them, a lack of self-confidence, a lot of apologizing for asking a lot of questions, that sort of thing. I had to let them know, slowly over time, hey, that's cool. Well, that's making the dev system and the design systems work better together by reducing that friction. You know, that's how I think. I think in these systems. I think in terms of what's a good way to put this? I'll put it to you like this. I once described this to a person how I see reality, and they said, um, they were a theist, and they said, God created everything. Okay, and I
Mhm.
said, well, I could agree that God created everything, but even if I grant you that, we don't agree on how God created everything. And he was asking, well,
Yeah.
what do you mean? And I said, well, you think God created humans, the earth, and all that stuff, right? Just poof. And he's like, yeah, of course. I see the reality we live in. Okay. I see the reality we live in too. And we live in a quantum world. And reality at its core, at the finest detail we can get in physics thus far, are quantum fields, quantum particles. We're made of quarks, essentially. And so is the most probable, stable statistical outcome of those quantum fields. We are
Wow.
emergent from those quantum fields. Everything else is emergent from that. And thus we have a messy world that we live in, because everything's basically just fuzzy statistics when you think about it, in a very colloquial, not very technical sense. Um, and that's how I think those systems were built up from the bottom up. And that's how I think. That's how I see everything built up from the
Wow.
bottom up. I don't see top down approaches. I don't know how to think top down. It's just not.
Like from the bottom, like yeah.
Everything is bottom up for me. Every single thing,
Mm.
and that could be a problem when building like a business, right? Because for a business, a lot of times when they say, "Oh, you have to have hustle, you have to have smarts," what they mean is you got to sell the product before it exists. And for me, I don't know how to do that. I don't know what the product does. I don't know how to build that. I don't know how to tell the client, "Oh, yeah, no, it's going to do this, that, and thing." I can't do that. But a lot of people who, when they start companies, they sell products that don't exist yet, and then they build it. And for me, completely backwards. I don't know how to do that.
Wow.
So that's
Okay.
how I think.
I guess your brain is way more organized than mine. But maybe it comes from, like you said, being a software engineer, or the opposite. You became a software engineer because you thought that way, right? Could
um,
be.
there's so here's where my thinking gets even more complicated. I don't think it's either one of those. I think it's both of those simultaneously over time.
Okay, that's
I
fair.
think
That sounds right. Okay,
it's
but
I am an amalgamation of all my previous experiences, and those are part of that.
that is so true. Yeah. And do you like see images, or do you hear voice when you're thinking? Like, say right
Both,
now, I have a voice.
both, both. I
Okay.
have I have I have both, and it drives me nuts sometimes.
Okay.
So so
Same.
one of the things that's really weird about me is that when I speak, if I close my eyes, I can see the words in big embossed font as
Wow.
like statues. It's like really weird. It's like It's like
Oh,
imagine a marble carving. That's what I see when I close my eyes and I speak. I can
so
literally see the words like that.
do specific words have specific images, or like always the
Um,
same, or changes?
some words that are weightier to me will be thicker. Other words are will sometimes be a little bit thinner. But they all sort of like stand as like statues. Like they pop in as like statues, and then the next one pops in, and the other one's gone. When I speak, when I think, I have voices and images in my head. Sometimes I have a face talking to me. Sometimes I will be thinking about like Microsoft Windows, and while I'm thinking about working in Windows, I'll have the old image of the Windows XP desktop
The
in my
little,
head.
yeah.
It's it is maddening sometimes the way my brain works. Like it is just constantly on overtime doing everything all at once.
Oh yeah, I totally get that part, and that's where the ADHD came from. I like comes in. So for me, there's something. It might be weird, but I share this with people when I ask them, and they're like, "Wow, like that's cool." But so growing up, as a kid and as a teenager, and I think it was because I didn't have my cochlear implant at the time, so I was like
Mhm,
almost completely deaf. But my thinking was mostly visual, like I didn't hear voice monologue, talking
mhm,
and stuff. And so it was mostly visual and super vivid colors and really bright and lots of very creative imagery. The dreaming was the same. I could do like what is it called? Vivid dreaming. No, not vivid dreaming. What am I thinking? Lucid dreaming.
lucid dreaming.
Um, but when I got my cochlear implant, right after that is when I started losing more of my eyesight and I became legally blind. And my thinking changed completely. I guess because of the stimuli being different,
Mhm,
and it became a voice, and the imagery became really dull, like really dull colors. It's mostly like still images. If I close my eyes and try to create something that's been described to me, it's hard for me to do it.
mhm,
And that's one of the reasons I like AI, because I can be like, hey, I want to create this, and so it helps me visualize it, and then I can draw it or whatever, or recreate it on in
oh yeah,
the program and stuff. So it's like it
absolutely.
helps my brain. So yeah.
Fern, maybe that systemic perspective is why I could never get my thinking mind to accept religious claims. Maybe, but
Possibly.
I've met systems thinkers who also accept religious claims on the basis of, well, how could any of these systems work without it? So I don't think it's a systemic thinking that does that, Fern. I do think there's a very logical component there that is more fundamental than the overall thinking pattern.
Right. So Fern was saying earlier, I have the exact same diagnosis, systemic thinker, and I've never known anyone else to have this. So cool, there you go. Now you know we
It
both have
yeah.
it.
Yeah, so it's I've learned that it's fairly rare, but also something that's kind of like valuable in corporate America too. So, I know, who knows? Maybe I'll go into consulting as a systemic thinker.
Amber said, I'm about to make bad friends. I
We're already the bad friends, Ember.
don't know.
We're already the bad. We are the bad influence, Ember.
Yeah, I am a terrible person. Yeah. But I love Amber, so she accepts me as a bad friend. So we're cool. So, all right. Anything else you wanted to cover today, or
No,
say, or share?
I
Any
have I
words of
have given up
wisdom?
I have given up every pretense of trying to make my voice sound more feminine. It's been 2 hours and I'm just
Uh,
here now. I'm just vibing, man. I'm just having a good time.
I never noticed it changed. If there was one, I'm still
I
into it.
I've tried. I mean, I've tried being a little bit more feminine, but I just at some point of so much speaking and so much talking, I just I gave
Yeah, just let it be. Be yourself.
yeah.
Yeah.
Be my well, I decided to be
I
comfortable.
I enjoyed your comfortable company, so I
Thank
appreciate
you.
you being
It has been
here.
fun.
Yeah, for sure. I'm definitely gonna have you back.
Absolutely. I'll
Um,
be back. You just let me know.
yeah. Okay, so it's super quick. Let me see if I have something coming up to share with people. Um, for my live shows, I think the next one is the 21st, which is next exactly 1 week, which is gonna be with Eli, who was in the chat earlier,
Yeah, Eli.
and and we're gonna have a conversation about physics, astrophysics mostly, and the cosmos and star stuff. So it's gonna be fun. I don't know.
Hell yeah,
It's
it
like
sounds like
none of us are experts. We just like to talk about it.
yeah, we just talking about the things we like to talk about.
Right. That's what I was saying. Like I'm like now I'm gonna talk about um attacking theists or arguments or anything like that. We're gonna talk about things that make people think and that help people understand the universe and the world around us. And that's what I want to do for people. So that's going to be super fun. And then the other one is the one I mentioned earlier with Richard Deliver about philosophical arguments and
Oh.
consciousness. Why can I not word right now? I guess I'm hungry. I'll bring it on the hunger. But that's in end of November. So that's cool. Well, again, everybody go subscribe to Felicia by Nature, which I already put the
Yeah.
link up there. Thank you, everybody hanging out in the chat. There were so many cool people. Some of like all of these amazingly supportive community people that I appreciate so much. And I will say, I always leave the show with some words of wisdom. So I'm going to just say that today's experience um, really broke my heart, and that we even have to say things like this. And is that being trans, being yourself, is why is it treated like a crime? Why is it a threat? Why does it have to be a debate? Why are we arguing about it? Why are we not letting people be? People are being attacked. They're losing their jobs. They're
Yeah.
being hated on. They're losing their families, including and their lives, of course, all because somebody else decided that they didn't fit into that perfect binary that they constructed that, as you very wisely said, is a lie. um there's nothing wrong with trans people. They want to be. What is wrong is the world that has forgotten how to be human. So as my channel is called, ways to human, find some better ways to human. Be nice, be cool, and go like stuff, go subscribe, go support the people of the community. Even if you don't feel super part of the community, we still support you and we still appreciate you, Felicia. And thank you
Yeah.
for being here tonight. You're awesome.
Thank you so much. I've got a little bit of word of
Oh
wisdom for
yeah,
everyone out there.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
Go, go, go.
My words of wisdom are very, very simple and very, very straightforward. Whatever you do, no matter what you do in life, make sure you don't shit your pants.
Oh, that is probably the best advice anybody's ever given on my show. That totally, and I think the whole chat is going to appreciate that.
Have
Because we had that conversation about bathrooms. Have more private bathrooms so you don't shit your pants.
exactly.
Ryan said, too late.
Oh God.
All right, everybody. Thank you for hanging out. I hope you all had a lot of fun, and I hope you learned a lot from today. And be cool. See ya.
Peace.